As I'm watching the mainstream media glorify looting, violence, thievery, lynching, I recall my investigative reporting case a few years back on Lavoy Finicum case. Lavoy Finicum, a dedicated father, a committed husband for several decades, a citizen with squeaky clean background, and not even a single traffic ticket on his record, that squeaky clean. A poet and a writer, an ardent supporter of the Constitution, a peaceful, passionate, lifetime activist.
The Constitution has been shredded, but it lives in your heart. You know what freedom is and what freedom isn't. Stand, because when you stand, others will stand with you. And God can't stand with you if you don't stand. Once you stand, you can expect the hand of providence to be over you. Don't matter how it ends, it matters how you stand. This is Lavoy Finicum. One cowboy stands for freedom. See you later.
Yes, he was shot multiple times and murdered in daylight per order of a far-left governor in Oregon, and yes, by law enforcement.
When armed protesters occupied a national wildlife refuge, an FBI agent is now facing charges accused of lying about the deadly encounter. ABC's Clayton Sandell is in Denver with the story. Good morning, Clayton.
Hey, good morning, George. This morning, the FBI tells us that agent is no longer working on the Bureau's elite hostage rescue team. He's been reassigned after a shooting he says didn't happen. This morning, an alleged lie and an FBI agent facing criminal charges.
You want my blood on your hands?
Stemming from this attempt to arrest militia leader Robert Lavoy Finicum last year during a takeover at an Oregon wildlife refuge.
They're shooting.
Finicum and his passengers flee, then nearly hit a police roadblock.
Hang on.
That's when investigators say FBI agent W. Joseph Astorita fires twice, missing Finicum as he gets out, his hands up, a bullet tearing through the truck.
Damn.
But Astorita, a member of the FBI's elite hostage rescue team, allegedly told investigators he never pulled the trigger.
The actions of the FBI HRT in this case damaged the integrity of the entire law enforcement profession, which makes me both disappointed and angry.
Seconds later, state troopers shot and killed Finicum, saying he reached for a gun. Finicum's wife says, "My husband was shot in the back 3 times and should have been afforded his own due process before they killed him."
The cover-up is worse than the crime because the agent would not have been prosecuted for taking a shot if he felt that that vehicle driven by Finicum was a danger to the public.
Now, what is still not clear is why Astorita allegedly lied. Prosecutors say that will come out in court. The agent faces 5 felony counts in all. He's pleaded not guilty. George.
5 counts. There were other members of the team, Clayton. What's going on with them?
Yeah, that's right. There were 4 other members of the team who were there. The sheriff who investigated the case says the FBI told him that those agents were not disciplined. The sheriff says that is disappointing. George.
Okay, Clayton, thanks very much.
I covered the entire protest, the entire case, right from the beginning. As a journalist, I was there in Oregon. That's where I used to live. I interviewed many people directly involved in this case, including protesters, including law enforcement, forensic experts, legal experts. And I attended the funeral and I listened to Lavoy Finicum's children, his daughters, delivering heartfelt eulogies.
We thank you all for coming from far and wide this day as we mourn the loss of our father, Robert Lavoie Finicum. Our family is united to press forward with our father's message that he fervently taught us that only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. These past few weeks, our father has been called many names by the world. But I'll tell you what we call him. We call him Daddy. Our daddy taught us time-tested principles. He taught us to be honest, kind, and to always have hope. He taught us to be examples. He taught us by his example to have self-discipline and daily diligence and how to conduct our lives as good citizens. True to form, Tartman spent his days in Oregon, meeting with people, befriending them, helping them, teaching them the principles that our leaders have abandoned. Many are grateful that he came because he gave them hope. They saw him differently from how the media characterized him. Throughout history, there have been few courageous people willing to stand for what they know is right. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, the founders of this American Republic, they all had one thing in common. They were mocked, ridiculed, and called extremists. Today's defenders of the U.S. Constitution are now called domestic terrorists. Whether or not you believe that our father did the right thing, we step forward to publicly ask, who are we as Americans? Who are we as human beings? Do we now believe that mere words justify the use of deadly force? Do we believe that peaceful actions justify the use of deadly force? Do we believe that 2 hands up in surrender justifies the use of deadly force? And do we believe that following the rule of law, the U.S. Constitution, justifies the use of deadly force? If we do, then where is liberty? We as a family want to thank you. We thank you for coming. We thank so many people who have come far and wide and for the support worldwide. The love that you're pouring out to our family. The support you are giving us. We're thankful for you coming and hearing. And we urge you to study. Study out in your heart and your mind. Where is truth? What is it? And what is liberty?
And yes, I cried like a baby. Most importantly, I sat helpless throughout this case, watching and listening to this same mainstream media, this exact same CNN, not only bashing Lavoie Finicum, celebrating his murder, even going further and asking the Obama administration, the governor, the military to actually send drones and nuke these peaceful protesters. Yes, it was this same exact mainstream media today amplifying, glorifying, looting, mobs, violence, thievery, this same mainstream media, hypocrisy galore, hypocrisy on steroid. This, what we are seeing, is a coup. I have seen and experienced coups directly, firsthand, in the past around the world. So when I see one, I recognize one. And that's what we are having today. It's a coup. It's a coup delivered. It's a coup helped delivered by the mainstream media with hypocrisy on steroid. So rise up, please. Don't sit idle, because together we can. It is incumbent upon us. Let's prove that we can be as dedicated to our Constitution as Lavoy Finicum. In so many ways, Lavoy Finicum represent us, the 1/3. Join me, join my network, my 1/3 USA Common Sense Network at Patreon. Let's not sit idle. Let's not pretend we are dead. We are not. And let's stop this coup together. This is Sibel, just a citizen, reporting from Florida.